Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Brooklyn Book Belle, and I hope this video finds you in a spring mood. I don't know. I went outside today in New York and it was like 80 degrees and I was like, yes. I don't know. I've been in a funk. Like I haven't been posting. I haven't been wanting to go anywhere, do anything. I've literally been in these four walls, like legitimately here, but still reading. And this is my March wrap up. It is already April. I cannot believe it. Like, where is the time going? Where is it going? But I don't know. Let's celebrate spring. Let's celebrate what was read in March. I'm not really going to go into depth this month about like what I read because it was all such a blur. It was a blur. I don't know. I DNF'd the book. Like I am all, y'all, I'm literally all over the place. Like it's ridiculous actually. But we're going to do this together and it's going to be so great. I hope everyone's ready for all of my foolishness. Oh, okay. I see what I did there. So some of the books I was supposed to finish in March. I finished them like yesterday or day before yesterday. So they're actually now going to be in April. We'll figure that out later. I actually might add one of them to this because it's absolutely ridiculous. But okay, so I read 18 books in the month of March. And I want to go through my stats first because where would we be without a little data? Okay, so it's going to be a little skewed because I literally finished 2 books on the 1st that I was supposed to finish by March 31st that I didn't, but I do what I want and they will be added to this month. So here we go. 18 books, 4,318 pages were read. I don't know what I was doing. What was I doing? Do I have a life? I mean, I guess. The moods that I was mostly in was emotional, adventurous, and mysterious, which mysterious is a new one for me. It's normally pretty low on the moods of books that I read, but I'll take it for this month. I think that's pretty cool. The pace of all of the books that I read were majority fast and medium. Just the writing of the book, like how fast the storyline unfolds and pretty much how quickly you get to the end of it. If you're reading books that are on average 180 pages, I normally classify them as pretty fast. Because you got to get in, read the book, and be done. It's done. Wrap it up. Wrap this thing on up. And 81% of my page count for my books was less than 300 pages. So when people are like, how do you read all of those books? Girl, I'm reading books that's 150 to 250 pages. I'm not reading Harry Potter book 4, 495 pages. That's not what I'm doing. Okay, sometimes, but on average, it's less than 300 pages. So it's a get in and get out kind of thing. I did read 19% over 300, between 300 and 400, 499, so 500 pages. Which, I mean, how many books? Which was only 3 books. So out of the 18 or the 16 that they're calculating on here. Because again, my data is skewed. So let's see, nonfiction, 7%. Was only 1 book. 1 book. Everything else was fiction, which was joyful and great. 9 romance books. Yes, I am a helpless romantic, and I'm not mad at that. I did read 3 fantasy, 2 mysteries, and 2 contemporary. So I feel like it's not all romance over here. I mean, majority it is, but it's not all romance. Okay. Okay, so here's a piece of data that I'm really starting to get concerned about. I buy a lot of books. I buy a lot of them, right? I purchase them. I swipe my card for a lot of books, okay? And I still read 75% digital books and 25% physical books. I got too many books in here to not be doing at least half and half. This month, that's my goal. Let me write that down because I need to be reading 50% physical books because I have a lot of books in here. Like, you have no idea. You can't even see them because they're supposed to be on this wall. It's a whole nother thing. But there's a lot of them in here that need to be read. A lot of them need to be read, and we're gonna switch that up this month. So we're gonna put that in the April TBR because this is disproportionate. The data is off. It's disproportionate. 50% physical. Y'all think I'm playing? When y'all see the next video and I have on a different shirt, but I'm talking about my TBR and I go like this, I'm really writing my notes. I'm gonna drop something off my desk, but we'll figure that out later. Oh, it's my book thing. Oh shoot. Okay, moving on in my data review. All books were English and there was an average of 4.06 stars. You know, this is why I like StoryGraph, because just because I think it should be a 3.5 or a 3.75, I can do that. Okay, let's get into the books. I have talked about my weird data situation enough. Okay. In the book of March, it's saying that I read 16 books, but I'm going to say I read 18. I did DNF one book because I could do that. It's my prerogative. But let's see. I read 8 Seconds to Love by Monica Walters, which is the first book in her Country Hood Love series, which I did an entire video about the 3 books. So I will not be talking about those books, but I will be naming them. I read My Dear Henry, a Jekyll and Hyde remix. I posted about this book on its pub day because I did receive an ARC copy of this book. I gave this book a 4 stars. I love this book. It was so good. So if you like Mr. Heckle, Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, we'll just say that. This one does take place in like the Regency era, but it is Black characters and it is also a LGBTQ plus IA book. And let me tell you, the representation, I was like, oh my God, this is good. It follows 2 male lovers who of course at that time were not supposed to be together, but the way it was written, the author did what needed to be done. I was very impressed. So I would say that's a must read. I read Breaking Barriers to Your Heart, which is the second book in the Country Hood Love series by Monica Walters, which I said I did a video about, but I'm gonna say that for this one as well. That was book number 2. I read Justice's Devotion by Maya, which I really liked. I gave this book 4 stars, but I read it so long ago, I really actually don't remember all of it. But if I gave it 4 stars, I'm thinking that I love it. And it's also a Be Love Presents books, and most of those books I devour. But if I gave it 4 stars, I liked it. Okay, so I read the Moonborn Academy series, all 3 books. Okay, Alpha Wolf, Rejected Wolf, and Goddess Wolf. It's basically about a reincarnation of a moon goddess into a physical form through the body of a shifter who has never shifted. Okay, she gets to this school, she finds out she has all of these mates. One of her mates rejects her. There are soul tethers involved. It's a lot happening. Do I think we needed 3 books? No, we could have wrapped this up in 2. The author is Rune Hunt, by the way. Sorry, I don't know if I said that, but we could have wrapped this up after book 2. I gave book 3 not so good stars because I just felt like it was just being dragged on for no reason. And I was so excited after book 1, and I was like, oh, book 2 is a continuation. Oh, this could have been done. I like good series, but I also like when we're not repetitive. Read book 1 and book 2. That's what I will say. And if you have the capacity, read book 3. But I don't think you need to, because it basically tells us how this is going to conclude. That's how I feel. I read Beauty Beheld, A Beauty Is Her Name novel by Zariah L. Banks, which I also enjoyed. I did a written review for this one over on my Instagram as well, and I gave this one 4 stars. I really like that the author basically made the characters embody the changes that the main character needed to decide upon in her life. So like, you have a bad guy, you have a good guy, you have bad in-laws, you have good in-laws, like, you know what I mean? But they all like embodied all of the bad things that she did not need in her life, and she had to make a decision on if she wanted what she knew and what was comfortable, and something different and something that she deserved. So the writing was beautiful. The pace was great. This was my first book by this author, but I would say give this one a try. Beauty Beheld. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. The next one is Training My Heart to Love You by Monica Walters. This is book 3 in the Country Hood Love series. Hey, y'all, I just love these books. So I did a video about just them because they were all good. Go read them. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Next, I read Ever, The Eisenberg Effect by Gray Huffington. It was a novelette, like it was only 75 pages. So again, get in, get out. We were getting an update on what was going on with our girl Ever, and I'm smiling, but the book was not a happy book, right? We go through things in life that shape the next chapter of our life. And I think Gray Huffington did a great job of giving us this kind of vignette into what happens after marriage and the babies. Okay. Yes, it is still the same husband. Yes, you are making these beautiful children, but what else could be happening, right? It was very emotionally raw, which I'm also thankful that it was very short. But we saw her come out on the other side, and it was really beautiful. But if you haven't read The Eisenberg Effect, the other 4 books, this might be your moment, because this one is an update to, you know, our first book in the series. So there's that. Go pick it up. The next book I read was The Kingdom of Prep, the inside story of the rise and near fall of J. Crew. I'm a J. Crew girly. However, I cannot talk about this book. I gave it 4.5 stars though, and we're gonna move on. Okay. I read For Her Safety, The Knight Brothers, which was a continuation in the series. It's a shifter romance. The family, the collective, is going through a lot. If you did not read the first one, I would say go back and read it. Dria Anderson is a great paranormal romance writer, and I really like this book. There you go. I read All I Want Is You by Kay Shanee, and y'all, I'm a Kay Shanee fan. A fan. But I don't remember what this book was about, even after reading my notes. I will say I have never given one of her books less than 4 stars. I didn't like this one. We will move on. I then read Shut Up and Dance by Tanzania Glover, and it's about this artist who basically falls in love with this dancer that he sees dancing to his music. And she is a full-figured Black female dancer, and I lived, honey, because she was serving all the girls, eating them the fuck up. And he had this like clinger on woman who was like on him or whatever, who kept saying the most disgusting things about this woman's body. She handled it more gracefully than I would. That's what we can all just say. She handled it more gracefully than I would have, and she got the guy. So if you're looking for a great like R&B artist who falls in love with the dancer but has a little drama mixed in, it's only 71 pages. I will recommend Tanzania Glover, Shut Up and Dance. I loved it. It was great. Okay, I read Catching the Carolyn Lake Killer. I did a whole video about this and definitely said the author's name wrong. It is K.D.Richards. Not Richardson. I swear sometimes I just read words and I'm just like, what's happening? So really like this book. So the main female character returns back to her like hometown, or not really a hometown because her mother was kind of a vagabond and would pick her up and move her a lot. But when she was in this city, when she was like 10, 11, 12, around that age, she watched someone be murdered. She becomes an investigative reporter. She comes back to the town. She thinks that it's kismet that she takes this job, because as soon as she gets back, the killer strikes again. And because of what she knows intimately of the case, she is also quietly sleeping with the sheriff. Get your thing done. Do your thing, girl. But she's also quietly sleeping with the sheriff, and a lot happens, right? You're sleeping with the sheriff. You're an investigative reporter. You also know intimate things about this mystery, and it's a whodunit all wrapped up in once. I gave it 3.75 stars. There were certain things that I was just like, this is kind of boring, but I thought the book was good. It was my first book by the author. I will give her a try again, and that's that. Okay, so y'all, I have not given a book a 5-star rating in quite some time. It's been some time. Spend some time that I gave this book 5 stars, and I loved it. I did. This book is I'm such a nut. I'm sorry. I don't give 5 stars easy. I would give my favorite author a 4-star if it don't make me, if it don't do something to my spirit. Okay, so clearly this is my first book by Kayelle, Shadows in the Dark. And let me tell you, that 4.65 rating that it has ain't for nothing. Okay, the girls weren't playing with giving this book 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. That's how good I thought it was. But basically, Rumi Leroy is a free spirit who is a writer who has lost her passion for writing, and she goes off to this town and becomes a bartender after the passing of her father. No problem. She runs into a mysterious, grumpy Gideon in the bar, and he is nasty. Listen, I bartended 3 years in college. 3. How he was in that talking to that girl, there was no reason. Okay, there was no reason for him to talk to her in that way. Now I can understand that people are broken, okay, and have hurt in their past, and it makes them feel like they can now act this way. But here's the thing, I don't have to put up with it. You can take that somewhere else and do that to someone else. You can't talk to me that way. You won't be talking to me that way and have access to me. Okay, sorry, that was me having a moment, because I just don't like that. I just use nice words. Be kind. It's free. So Rumi applies for this job, goes to the interview. Guess who's at the interview? Gideon's at the interview. And y'all know, I also don't really ascribe to that whole be mean to the people you like. I might like you back if you act right. You don't have to be mean. Okay? So, lo and behold, goes through some things, gets the job. It was still a struggle. But what I will say is that for both of these characters, watching their growth on the paper, apart from each other, but also together, was very satisfying by the time we got to their happily ever after. Read the book. It's going to put you through your paces. But again, it has been one of my favorite books of the year. I'm probably actually going to go back and reread it because I want to make sure I know all the details. But I remember it. Clearly, I'm talking about it. But it was good. It was good. Okay, and I want to get y'all in and out, so I only got a few more minutes on my timer. But let's get into the book set. So, last month, me and my dear friend from Book Talk, Shelby in the bookstore, who owns a female-owned black bookstore, go buy a book from Shelby. We read Half Blown Rose. Listen. Do you see all of my markings? First of all, most of these are for the playlist in the book because I am a music person, and you can put me in a good mood with a good playlist. So I downloaded every song from this book, and I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 playlists that is referenced. So basically, we meet Vincent because I'm rattling. We meet Vincent, our main character. She has left her husband after raising her 2 kids because he's an author and he has just published a book basically letting loose all of his the bones in his closet. Now, personally, I don't think the bones that he let out should have ended with her leaving. Was it bad? Yes. Would I have left? Probably not. But what I picked up from Vincent, who has now run off to Paris, is that maybe you wanted to leave. Maybe you wanted to leave. Maybe the whole time you wanted to leave. You now have your Parisian lover, a man who is 20 years younger than you, okay? And you can't figure out if you want to go back to your husband or if you want to stay with the man. I don't know what you want to do. But Vincent, we didn't need 395 pages of you not knowing what you want to do at your big grown age. This is the book. Do you want me to show you what I did with the book when I got done? That's what I did. I gave it a 3.5. It stressed me out. Books don't have to stress you out. I'm ridiculous. I'm sorry. But I did throw the book when I got done. I gave it a 3.5. Me and Shelby have similar thoughts about it. We are making jokes about it in our group chat because we just couldn't believe it. Read it if you would like. I don't know. Listen, it's only honesty from me. I read things that I like, which brings me to the one book that I DNF'd, The Prophets. Everyone raved about this book, and this is what I have come to, and this is what I will have to live in moving forward. I don't like enslaved narratives, okay? I know that they are important. I know that they are necessary. Since I was a young child, have grasped and understood that slavery was real. It was inhumane. And I don't want to read about it. That is a me thing. Reading for me is escapism and joy and all of the things. And I can read things about tough topics. But when it comes to enslavement of a person who does not have their own bodily autonomy to protect themselves, choose who they love, choose who they want to share their body with, birth children, be able to protect those children. Like, the author is amazing, actually. Robert Jones Jr., if there's anything that is not about enslavement, I will give it a try again because his writing is actually poetic and beautiful. I like that each of the chapters is named after books of the Bible. This follows two enslaved persons, Isaiah and Samuel, and they're in a relationship in the barn on the plantation. And what I also don't like is that in this world, we think other people's love is our concern. It never has been. It never will be, because their love won't have nothing to do with the love that I'm trying to manifest in my life, nor will it have anything to do with the happiness I'm trying to ensure myself. And even in enslavement, we found a way to alienate two humans who have found a little piece for themselves in this world. And I could not bear to finish it nor participate in what was happening. Every person I've ever spoke to who has read this said how beautiful it was, and I do agree it is a beautiful book. I gave up at about page 259, and it's like 300 and I think 78 pages. I just couldn't. I was done. I again wanted to throw the book. I got that out. So technically I did finish 16 books. Havilland Rose was finished on the 1st of April, but we're gonna put it in the books with March. But that concludes my March wrap up. You see, I was on a ride here, okay? Make sure you check out my video about Monica Walters' Country Hood Love series. It was my favorite thing that I read all last month outside of Shadows in the Dark. But that concludes my March wrap up. And if you are looking for something fun to read, or if you want to know what I'm reading next, I will also be posting my April TBR, which will hopefully have a little bit more direction. It probably won't, because I'm such an emotional reader, but I hope that you come with me on the journey. Catch my new vlogs that get posted, catch my TBRs and my wrap-ups, and yeah, have a great start to spring, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.